Good evening everyone and welcome back to our channel. This video is actually a live streamed video because of the network. That is why I am turning it into a video form. Now I want to show us how you can make a wrap work. I told you guys I'm a fan of buying ready-made sew. So I use a ready-made sew to draw the fiber. I use a ready-made sew to draw the sole you are seeing. I'm using a Nigerian nora and also a Nigerian nora for the heel. Like I said, it is from the ready-made sew, the plastic ready-made sole I got that I used in cutting the fiber. From the fiber, I attached the mic fiber to the Mako 4. I used the bouncing Mako 4. Then this is the sole you are seeing. Can you see? A Nigerian sole, and we are also using a Nigerian sole for the heel. Can you see that? So I had already filed the sole. We scratched the sole already, and this is us trying to place the fiber on the sole. Now when it comes to wrap work, so many of you usually ask me how to construct sew. There are different kind of constructed sew. Now this is one of them. It is called a wrap sew. This is how you can wrap your insole, get your sole without going through too many routes. You are using the ready-made sew you have to cut your fiber. Through that fiber, you are able to cut your Mako 4. Now, through that ready-made sole, you are also able to cut your Nigerian sole, your Nora 3 or your Nora 4 or your plain Nora, whichever one you want to use. It is okay depending on the amount the customer pays for. Now, you will let that gum sit for some time. Then, can you see? Look at it properly. You are joining the two. That is the fiber to your nora, the fiber to your sole. If you discover any excess, just carefully trim it. But I don't think the excess will be too much. But in order for us not to spend so much time on the filing machine, I'll recommend that you just little trimming, a very little trimming of that excess is perfectly fine. Can you see? Now we are going straight to the filing machine to just blend. Now when you are blending this kind of wrap work, don't touch the fiber and the Mako 4 yet. Make sure you blend your sole. Make sure you blend your nora to the fiber and the Mako 4 before you can now go ahead to blend the three all together. You know how delicate Mako 4 and fiber can be. We all know that. Immediately it touches the filing machine, it starts getting injured. That is how delicate it is. So you are using your sole. It is your sole and your heel. No, it is the fiber and the Mako that will be a trademark for how you are going to file or blend your sole to the Mako and the fiber. Now, when you are sure that it is perfectly blended or it is perfectly filed, that's when you can now go ahead. You can now go ahead into blending the two. Do you understand? Please, if you don't understand anything I am showing you in this video, you can let me know in the comment section. Now, I was done blending it. I had to, sometimes when you filed sole, you will still see some pieces showing at the edge, like some extra piece showing. So you can just blend it, and this is done. This is the basic work when it comes to, will I say, your wrap work. When you get your shape right, you get the filing right, you get the blending process right, you are done. So we're just creating half an inch allowance for the folding process. Do you understand? Half an inch allowance as seen in the video for your folding process. Can you see? Then you can now cut it, apply your gum generously to the Mako 4 and also to the fiance you are using. I am actually using a light fiance. I had already applied gum on the Mako 4 and also on the light fiance that we are trying to make use of, and this is us. You just pull and pleat carefully till you get to the end. Pull, pleat, pull and pleat it. As you are pulling it, you are not pulling a chunky part of it, like you are pulling it, you are picking and pulling bit by bit so that any pleated area would not show on the insole. Because if you don't pull it like use force to pull it, then you can now pleat, it is likely to show, and you wouldn't want that when it comes to the kind of work you are making. Do you understand? Because after making it, if you want to snap it, you will discover errors. So you need to be cautious of what you are doing. If you have the plan of taking a close-up picture at your footwear without filter, you need to be cautious of every step you are trying to do. Now we have a pattern on this already. We have a pattern on how you can create hem slide for ladies. But if you want a video of it, I can just send the link to you. Do you understand? I will send the link to you so that you can go back to that video and watch it, how you can create your hem slide. I would not like the idea where I'll be show you the process of making a footwear and I would have not dropped maybe the freehand pattern making also. I love to draw freehand pattern making. I love to drop freehand pattern making for you guys first before going right ahead into making maybe a vivid video of it for a better understanding and how you can last it and all that. So this is the material we are using. It's also a fiance. You know, fiance comes in different forms. Some come plain and some will actually look like skin that you won't forget that it is actually a fiance because of how fine it is. So we're making for a size 38. So it's not really a big, let's say a big size fiance or a big size kind of hems. So this is what we are doing. All you need to do is when you are done cutting, make sure you just dye the edges. You get, make sure you dye the edges just to give it a very neat finishing when you are done. And like I said, we also have the pattern. We have the pattern for men and we also have the pattern for women. You just ask and I will send the link to you. You can go and watch it so that it will be something you can, will I say, something you can relate to when you are watching the process of the whole making, the whole footwear making. Do you understand? Now for the lasting process, we went for a 1.5 by 2. 1.5 by 2 was the measurement. Now we had already lasted the first pair and this is us lasting the second pair. Can you see? 1.5 measurement for, I think because it's a small foot, and I always use 1.5 by 2 when it comes to making slides for women. I use 1.5 for a big finger, then 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches for the men. Do you understand? So yeah, this is the placing process of the hem slide. Can you see? We also went right ahead into filing the edges so that when you are placing it, because of the gum you had already applied on it, it will stick properly. Some don't even go through this route, they just use Aradites and it also works perfectly for them. So just do what works for you. Do you understand? Now this is the lasting process of it. Like I said, it's a small sized kind of hem, so we didn't have to do so much. And make sure that when you are lasting something like this, make sure you push the last forward a little so that it will not be so tight on the person. There are some people that like very tight footwears, but the people that like very tight footwears are not so many compared to the ones that want the footwear to be slightly loose on them. So I won't tell you that wearing a tight footwear give them headache. So yeah, that is it. So we are done lasting it, and like I told you guys, the the filing process was the basic work, and we had already done it. We had already filed even the edge, can you see, of the hems. So the next thing we are going to do is just to apply our gum and couple it. We actually didn't have to even use heat. We didn't have to use heat on it because you know Nigerian nora receives gum so well. Unlike the foreign nora, Nigerian soles receive gum, so we didn't have to. And it was really a sunny day too, so we made use of the sun. We allowed the sole to stay under the sun for some time. before we went ahead into the coupling process. But this is basically how the hem slide came out, handmade hem slide. I'm actually a fan of wearing handmade because it doesn't wear out quickly compared to the one that they will tell you is they just give it very good names, good popular names, and after some time you end up the sole might come out or it might break, and you just see one iron shank pulling its head at the bottom of the footwear. You don't go through all those drama when it comes to handmade footwears. So the way it is solid, it is really guaranteed. So this is how it looks like. After that, just make sure you hammer it to just secure those edges, because those edges are very important, because when you give a customer footwear, that's what they turn to look at first, if there is any opening. And you know, we are fans of having very good finishing. Now if you see any opening showing anywhere, that is where your iridite comes in. You just use your iridite to just seal the edges. Use your iridite to seal the edges. Make sure as you are sealing it, you are applying pressure with your hand to hold it properly. And guess what? You are done with your footwear. So that is it, guys, for making hem slide for ladies from start to finish using a wrap work method. So if you want another method of making footwear, I think the upper is not the problem. It's the process of the construction of the footwear. Do you understand? That is it, guys. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.